Hello everybody, I'm Renocio, and today I'm gonna be doing a watercolor of Chocobo? Ochaco Uraraka from My Hero Academia, and I probably said that wrong. I'm gonna start by making a sketch on some watercolor paper using a Laurentian pencil, and I'm so sad because I discontinued Laurentians in like 2012 and I can't get them anymore and I grab them. So I always have this problem when I'm drawing at a larger scale than I'm used to. I have this habit of drawing everything really, really tiny, and so when I draw bigger, I find that my drawings get more kind of realistic. Like, I can't do realism, but they're a little bit closer to realism than the cartoony style I normally do. So TLDR, Ochaco's eyes are a little bit different than I normally draw for characters, for the most part. Also, sorry about the wiggling the camera's doing. I have no idea why it's doing that. That's not an effect. That's just my camera dancing. So same as with my previous watercolor video, I do a preliminary sketch with the colored pencil, super light, and then I'll darken a little bit the lines that I want to keep, just so I know for sure what I'm going to be inking over. I don't plan on erasing any of these lines before I start putting down the inks and then the watercolors, so I want to make sure they don't show through too much. So for inking, I'm using the Sakura Micron inking pens. I tend to only have pretty small ranges of sizes. I've got everything from like a 0.05 to a 0.02 right now, so not the biggest, not the best for these kind of large scale drawings. I just had to make my lines thick by going over them several times. God, I'm so gay, I can't help myself. I know she's supposed to be like a cutesy whatever character, but I'm like, but what if I gave her arm muscles? So then after I did all my clean, tidy little baby lines with my round tip pens, I switched over to the brush pen to make the outline darker. I ended up doing a lot of the lines in general with the brush pen, as it turned out, because the outline was a little bit too thick compared to the inside lines. I played around with it a lot. I definitely goofed up a couple of lines with her hair and on some other parts, but this happens a lot when I'm inking. I tend to get around it by finding ways that I can blend lines together. There are some instances where I have to use a white gel pen to cover things back up. Don't use whiteout, learned that the hard way. But yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of rolling with the punches. The ink didn't turn out exactly in the right place that I wanted it to, so I'll just make some new lines and make it all kind of work. I think I technically made her skin tone a little bit darker than it's supposed to be, but guys, after years and years and years of mostly drawing white people, you get really sick of drawing white people. Okay, not technically just white people, but I was in a lot of fandoms that were, at least in the early years, not super varied in body type or skin tone, or had much in the way of queer characters. Y'all don't know what you have nowadays. The early 2000s were dark times. Ochaco's canon outfit is more on the white cream sort of colored scale, but I didn't know how to approach that on a white background, so I went with kind of like an off pinky color, and then I used a darker rosy color for the accents, and a very, very light purpley sort of wash for the highlights of what's going to be black parts of her outfit. And the black parts I straight up did in ink. I like the contrast between like heavy black line art and really soft pastel-y colors. Oh, and I will say, while you can use water-based inks if you're doing line art after all the watercolors have dried, I would recommend archival ink. In my experience, the water-based inks end up with like little bubbles in them and they just don't look as rich or deep a color. I forgot to film the whole part where I gave it kind of a background because I'm a doofus, but anyway! I know next to nothing about this character, so I hope this is to some degree accurate to her. And shout out to Dippy, who I drew this for. They're a gem. Check out their art, they're super good, and I love everything they make, and I want more people to appreciate how cool their shit is. Also, thank you for watching, and if you guys want to hang out in the future, feel free to scribble, and I will catch you on the flip side. Later!